Straight ahead on 12 News, homes in high demand.
I truly believe anything under $220 that's got good value is in a multiple offer, no questions.
Plus, we visit one Robbinsdale neighborhood where there are complaints of mail mix-ups. But first, a suspect who federal authorities believe is linked to a terrorist group is arrested in Brooklyn Park. 12 News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. We begin with a bizarre and frightening ordeal inside a Brooklyn Park Walgreens store.
Criminal charges filed today say a man who allegedly had contact with a foreign terrorist group threatened to blow up the store. Abdul Rahim Ali Skelton of Glencoe, Minnesota is accused of making terroristic threats inside the Walgreens on Brooklyn Boulevard early Sunday morning. According to the criminal complaint, Ali Skelton threatened a man with a bottle, accusing that man of having relations with his girlfriend. Witnesses say the suspect stated he had a gun and threatened to shoot up the store. He also stated he was part of a terroristic group and would blow up the store. According to federal court documents, Ali Skelton has been on the FBI's radar. The U.S. Attorney's Office accuses Ali Skelton of lying about his communications with ISIL last year.
A man shot and killed Saturday afternoon in North Minneapolis has been identified as a Brooklyn Park man. The Hennepin County Medical Examiner says 18-year-old Derek Mack died of multiple gunshot wounds. Police say Mack was walking in the area of Colfax and 39th Avenues North when a white vehicle pulled up and shots were fired. No arrests have been made.
Brooklyn Center is taking a stand to limit the number of sex offenders living in the city. The City Council Monday approved an ordinance change that would prevent newly released Level 3 sex offenders from living within 2,000 feet of schools, child care facilities, or public playgrounds. It would also prevent Level 3s from living within 2,000 feet of each other. The mayor says an unfair metro-wide affordable housing policy is one reason sex offenders are choosing Brooklyn Center, because housing is cheaper.
I believe we need to continue to raise our voices to say this is an injustice, a disservice to our community, and it's something we are going to talk about and we're going to bring to everybody's attention.
The Brooklyn Center police chief says a policy barring Level 3s from living in certain Minneapolis zip codes has pushed more sex offenders into Brooklyn Center. Spring is typically when home sales pick up, and that is definitely the case this year. As
Eric Nelson found out, starter homes, or those valued at $250,000 or less, are in high demand.
The housing market in the Northwest Metro this spring is hyper-competitive.
They're very tough to find. They're selling quick if they're conditioned well, and they're priced at market price. They're flying off the shelf.
If you want a starter home, be prepared and be ready to pounce on any vacancy.
Things are going well above what their list is, so you can, bidding war, be ready for that.
Be ready for a potential bidding war. I truly believe anything under $220 that's got good value is in a multiple offer, no questions.
It's simple supply and demand.
It is very frustrating.
Too many buyers and not enough starter houses under $250,000 on the market.
If you have certain needs and there's a house that is going to fit that need, you need to look at it that day.
This house here in Crystal will go on the market later this week. The price tag is $180K. The realtor says it will be snapped up in days. This housing frenzy is also fueled by low interest rates.
It's difficult right now.
With so many potential buyers, if you snooze, you lose.
No, they don't last.
I see this happening for the entire year. We've got to get more sellers out there listing. We need a product here.
Because of the demand for new digs, buyers should put themselves in a position to move quickly.
They've got to get financed and pre-qualified, because if they go out and start looking and find one that they like, they're going to be real disappointed when there's that multiple offer, that buying frenzy going on, and they haven't prepared themselves.
I'm Eric Nelson, Channel 12 News.
Realtors say another reason for the demand in starter homes is because some construction companies don't build as many because it's less profitable.
Plans for a luxury apartment building in New Hope took a step forward this week. The City Council voted to rezone this 3.5-acre site next to New Hope Village Golf Course to make room for a proposed 4-story luxury apartment building. The city is still negotiating with the developer for the land sale, and that could happen in April. In Maple Grove, an open field at the corner of Elm Creek Boulevard and Hemlock Lane could be the site of a new retail and residential development called Village at Arbor Lakes. The Maple Grove Planning Commission is recommending that the City Council approve rezoning for the Doran Company's proposal, and that is to build 2 hotels, a grocery store, a daycare facility, and apartments. The United States Postal Service is ranked as one of the most trusted government agencies.
But some Robbinsdale residents say they're having a problem getting their mail. Reporter Sonia Goins explains.
The slogan says, neither snow nor rain nor heat nor gloom of night stays these carriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds. Some Robbinsdale residents say carriers are careless when it comes to delivering their mail.
2 weeks ago, I had to return somebody else's mail.
2 residents who didn't want their last names revealed say there's a problem with parcels and letters being delivered in their Lilac Terrace neighborhood.
The piece of mail I returned was a piece of bank mail, and on the envelope it always says important statement enclosed.
But it's quite annoying, you know. If I'm waiting for something, could be my tax information. Maybe now I can't file my taxes.
Ben says he also gets the wrong mail in his box.
I'm always getting other neighbors' mail. They're from the right to the left, even down the street and other blocks. It's really weird how they do that.
It seems to be happening to others too. Dozens have complained recently on Facebook about mail not being delivered correctly.
Right now on Facebook, there's a woman who said that she received somebody else's passport.
There's been like credit card, offers or whatever, and I would assume that if people are getting my credit card offers, I don't like that. That's identity theft just waiting to happen.
We showed the complaints to the U.S. Postal Service. They gave us this statement. We are sorry to hear of incidents of misdelivered mail in the Robbinsdale area. Customers have a right to expect their mail is delivered properly.
Before you put mail in somebody's mailbox, you must look at it and make sure you got the right address. I don't think anything less is acceptable.
In Robbinsdale, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
The U.S. Postal Service urges people to contact them if they have issues with the mail. We have contact information on our website at 12.tv.
The Robbinsdale Police Department received some cute and cuddly donations that could help kids in a tough situation.
Oh, look at this. This has got.
Robbinsdale Police Chief Jim Franson had some fun showing off the new plush toys. Standard Water Control Systems in Crystal donated about 50 stuffed animals, which officers will hand out to children who are caught in the middle of stressful situations.
Can help them relax a little bit, let their guard down a little bit, even just to have something to hold and to hang on to, something that's soft, something that's colorful. That just changes their whole attitude right there, and it helps them calm down a little bit. And again, it just gives them something to hold and take care of.
Thanks to this donation, the Robbinsdale chief says his department has enough stuffed animals for the time being. Coming up, legislation aimed at reducing dependence on pain medications.
Then in sports, a look ahead to the 2016 season for the Cooper baseball team.
But first, the forecast shows a wet Wednesday. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We want to tell you about a special event in Crystal Wednesday to honor Vietnam veterans. VFW Post 494 is inviting veterans and the public to turn out for a Vietnam Veterans Welcome Home Dinner. More than 50 years after the first U.S. soldiers arrived in Vietnam, the Crystal VFW wants to recognize local Vietnam vets who did not get the same kind of welcome home reception that Iraq and Afghanistan veterans received.
I think there are a lot of veterans that have latent feelings about how they were treated when they got home, and I'm hoping that this will open them up to share some of those feelings with the general public. Speaking for myself, I didn't even talk about my experiences in Vietnam until about 5 years ago.
The Welcome Home Dinner is Wednesday night at 5 o'clock. The public is invited. The cost for dinner is $10. According to the CDC, the United States is experiencing an epidemic of pain medication overdoses.
It's common for doctors to prescribe opioid medication for chronic pain sufferers, but some experts say other methods should be tried first. In today's Health Check, we look at what a Crystal woman is doing to help patients with alternative treatments.
easing people's suffering is a nice thing.
Tucked inside a Crystal neighborhood
Take a deep breath.
is the home office of Bonnie Bolash,
I'm feeling her pulse, like is it fast, is it slow?
where she performs the Chinese system of medicine known as acupuncture.
A lot of people come in for pain. I mean, pain is a big problem, obviously. A lot of people suffer from either low back pain, neck pain, migraine, headaches. You pop the needle in.
They're problems that are usually addressed with painkillers.
I'm just hoping that non-drug choices are an option for people.
Today, Bonnie is using her mother to demonstrate how acupuncture works.
It's nice to know that you can help people.
But if she gets some help from the state legislature
and be able to live a better quality of life,
she'll have the ability to perform it on more people who seek pain relief and help them save money and avoid opioid drugs in the process.
I'm trying to give people options on treating pain.
Under current state law, health insurance companies are not required to cover acupuncture. Bonnie says that typically the only time insurance kicks in is after a patient has tried pain medication and physical therapy.
We have a pain management issue in the U.S. that providers are so desperate to help treat people with pain that they're willing to give them something that's potentially addictive is kind of scary.
She hopes a bill introduced at the state capitol will change that.
You know, I'm certainly concerned about, prescription drug overdoses and trying to find alternatives whenever possible.
Representative Mike Freiberg has sponsored a bill that would require health insurers to cover acupuncture for pain management.
A lot of times if people have pain, they get prescribed some sort of a narcotic. So this is just to try to help encourage insurers as well as patients to find alternatives to that.
Bonnie hopes acupuncture will be one of those alternatives.
People need options for pain.
Pain medication overdoses are linked to the increase in heroin use. Representative Freiberg hopes this legislation, if passed, will begin to address that issue. Well, coming up, Maple Grove City Hall turns into a place for art.
But first in sports, John Jacobson has a recap of the winter sports season while looking ahead to spring. We'll be right back.
The Cooper baseball team is striving to be more consistent this spring while playing in the tough Metro West Conference. Here's Jason Malillo with a preview of the Hawks.
The Cooper baseball team has been outside for most of the preseason, and so far, it's looking pretty good.
Before our season started this week, we organized a couple captain's practices. So from there, we were able to tell a couple of pretty strong points I think that we'll see this year. And hitting's looking pretty good this year. I think we'll be all right with the lineup.
The Hawks infield will be a work in progress, and they won't have a lot of depth at pitcher, but Andrew Lee and Melvin Newburn should be solid starters. All three starting outfielders from last season return, led by center fielder and Division I recruit Stephen Fitzsimmons.
I guess you could say it's a down year for our pitching. I mean, I'm assuming there's going to be a fair amount of balls hit to the outfield. So with an experienced outfield out there, we should have some confidence.
Grinding through the Metro West Conference puts Cooper head-to-head with some very good teams, including defending state champion Chanhassen. But the Hawks relish the challenge and hope it sets them up to be a battle-tested team come playoff time.
You see pitching every single day. Their number twos and number threes are most people's number ones.
We faced some really good teams, and obviously we played the state champ Chanhassen twice. So if you play those teams early in the year, you're gonna do better against competition in sections.
Jason Malillo, 12 Sports.
Cooper's first game is next Wednesday, April 6th at Fridley. A few matches, meets, and games next week will signal the start of competition in the spring high school sports season. I sat down with Tim Leighton from the Minnesota State High School League to preview the spring and take a look back at the winter tournaments.
The winter sports tournament season truly was a really fun, it's a grind, as you know, all those tournaments right in a row. They call it March Madness, but it's really all starts in February. So, but it was just a great run of winter sports. A lot of fantastic finishes. I do remember Wyzetta being able to celebrate not once, but twice their boys hockey championship victory because extra time had to be put on the clock. And I haven't seen that very often where a team got to celebrate a state championship twice. So just a wonderful array of memories and fantastic finishes, and to really put together a great winter state tournament run there.
You mentioned Wayzata boys hockey. It was quite a winter for the Lake Conference. You had Wayzata winning boys hockey. You had 4 of those 5 schools winning boys and girls basketball or boys and girls hockey.
I think that conference it reestablished itself, actually maybe not even reestablished, but affirmed itself as the premier conference in the state of Minnesota. Just a wealth of talent, wonderful depth, just great performances by the Lake Conference.
We look ahead now toward spring sports, which will be getting underway fairly soon. It looks like we'll have a nice spring to be able to get sports started on time. 4 classes this year for softball and baseball, which is the first year of that.
It is indeed, and there's a lot of excitement out there because the opportunities now to end the state end your season with the state tournament bid have now increased, and softball will be held in North Mankato, and of course baseball will be held in 4 different spots. So there's a lot to play for. And you mentioned the weather. It is wonderful out there, and it seems like teams are going to get out there and be able to get at it right away, and that's awesome for them.
One thing that the league worked on in the last year was trying to get more officials involved in various sports, and that's been very successful, right? They read 40% increase over
and to put an actual number to that, I believe we're approaching 600 new officials that have been registered this past school year. So that's going on right now, and we also not only recruiting officials but retaining the ones that we have now. The officials program is really an exciting thing to be a part of right now. We've increased our officials education with going out to various parts of the state and introducing the officiating aspect to many folks.
In the league's countdown to 100 celebration, the 100th anniversary of the State High School League concluded at the State Girls Basketball Tournament. That's all good sports for today.
All right, thanks, John. When we come back, you could spot a young Picasso or maybe even a future Monet.
A local art show reveals the talents of Osseo area students. Finally, the Maple Grove Government Center has turned into a temporary art gallery.
A step inside and you'll discover artwork on display from students in the Osseo School District. It's the 2nd year that the Maple Grove Arts Center has sponsored the show, and all the art was picked by teachers. You'll find everything from watercolor and acrylic paintings to pen and ink, pencil, and charcoal drawings, as well as ceramics and photography. And the artwork is on display through April 29th.
It's perfect. So you come for a council meeting and then stay for the art.
Stay for the art, that's right.
It works.
We like to get people involved,
yes,
right?
Indeed. You know it.
That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, we'll see you back here again tomorrow starting at 4 o'clock.